Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is normally Throwback Thursday where we talk about something fandom related, some sort of movie news or something like that, and then we give you a throwback movie that relates to it. However, today is a very special day. We had a request from one of our subscribers, a channel called Horror Maniacs Germany. And they requested that we review their fan film, Friday the 13th, Origin of Evil. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so today we had a request from one of our subscribers, a channel called Horror Maniacs Germany, that I highly recommend you check out. Check out their channel because it has a lot of amazing content on there. If you are a horror fan, you're going to want to check out their channel. They have a lot of wonderful content on there for horror fans. But this movie that they've done, Friday the 13th, Origin of Evil, is split into 3 parts, with a 4th part promised to come sometime in 2024. So you're definitely going to want to subscribe to their channel so that you can be notified as soon as that comes out. Because these movies are great. Taking place in between part 1 and part 2, you get to follow a young Jason Voorhees. And this is something that I don't see a lot of people doing. This is something that while the TV show may sort of start to explore, we aren't going to have that TV show yet. That TV show is still a little bit of a ways away. And this movie does some of this stuff kind of brilliantly. You have a young Jason Voorhees who in the first part of this movie, because it is split into 3 parts, he is actually stalking and going after this girl who kind of ventures into his area and doesn't quite know what she's gotten into. Now, I will say this. The good thing here is that none of the victims, none of the people in this movie come across as weak. The final girl, she appears to be afraid for a fraction of a second, knows she has to fight her way out, and she starts to try to kind of fight her way out. And I think it's kind of a realistic thing to think about. The movie's done in a way that, to me, seems like something you might do as a person if you ran into a young Jason Voorhees, not knowing that this is the future Jason Voorhees. Keep in mind, because it takes place in between parts 1 and 2, the legend's out there, but this just seems like some guy who comes up to them. So, of course, you're going to attempt to fight your way out. And that's something I found very realistic about this movie, is they're not afraid of him until they have to be. And the first part sort of progresses along at a pace that is intended to sort of build that suspense. The thing about this movie is that it makes Jason a threat from the beginning, kind of hinting all along that he has some sort of supernatural abilities. And I am not opposed to that at all. There has been a lot of speculation as to when exactly Jason turned into zombie Jason and became unkillable. There's been a lot of speculation when it comes to that. And a lot of people think that he became unkillable at the end of part 4 when Tommy Jarvis brutally murders him. Then actually becoming zombie Jason in part 6 when Tommy Jarvis accidentally revives him. This movie sort of makes him, while it doesn't exactly seem like he's completely unkillable, it definitely seems like he has a lot of strength, which if you do go back and watch the earlier movies, you know, the Friday the 13th part 2 through 4, it does seem like Jason can take a lot of damage. He could definitely take a lot of pain. And it just becomes this is Jason supernatural? And I think they handle this in a pretty decent way, hinting at the fact that he may be due to all the damage he endures during the 3 parts of this film. Especially in this first part, you really get that sense like, wait, is he going to go down? Is he going to get hurt? Is this going to be the end of Jason Voorhees already? And it is that level of suspense that helps to build that suspense that will embody the next 2 parts of this film. When you get to part 2, you suddenly have a new final girl. And that one ups the ante on the amount of murders that are done. There are some very cool kills in it. And what gets me is that all the kills in this movie, all the stuff that they've done are very unique actually. Just for the amount of effort that went into some of the kills that they've done, some of the FX that they use, it makes this movie worth watching. So the second one builds the tension even more, presenting us with a couple new characters. And by time you get to the third film, you meet yet another final girl. And this one has a bit more of a connection to Jason, as she actually met him very early on. And she tried to help him. Well, flash forward to what is the modern times of that movie in between the events of part 1 and part 2, where she is now finding herself being stalked by Jason Voorhees. By this point, the entire movie has come into fruition. It has become a film that is very worthy of the Friday the 13th moniker. And that's very important and very cool because like I said, the deaths, the gore, and everything else actually works quite well. Jason is menacing when he needs to be, and that is awesome. Okay, in terms of acting in this movie, it is a German-made fan film, so there are accents in the movie, but you are not going to notice them after a while. Everything in this movie is completely understandable. All of the dialogue matters. And what's really cool is throughout the 3 parts of this film, they have some nice little nods and Easter eggs of things that will come later on in the series. And it really makes it watchable. It really makes it great and fun. So watch and try to see if you can pick out some of these Easter eggs. For me, I had to watch a couple times because I was actually enthralled by some of the choices they made and some of the things they did. And I wanted to kind of explore it a little bit more. So I watched a couple times and it is rewatchable. You can watch this movie in between Friday the 13th, part 1 and part 2. And part 4 of this series of little movies is coming in 2024. So you are definitely gonna want to subscribe and watch. I should also note the little details that they put into this movie that matter. One of the most important things that I found in this movie that I was actually really impressed by was the license plates on the cars actually being American license plates. That was something that a lot of big movies seem to ignore. Big budget movies will actually ignore that fact. You'll see a movie that's supposed to take place partially in America or in America, and they don't even bother to change the license plates accordingly. Also, the scenery in this movie is amazing as well. The way that they embodied what is Camp Crystal Lake. You actually believe that the places that they filmed could exist as part of Camp Crystal Lake and its surrounding area. And that is very important as well. So this movie pays attention to the little details, as well as those Easter eggs and other things that we talk about. It's a lot of fun. Nice little fan film, really great channel with a lot of cool things for you as a fan. So check them out, support our fandom, and after you see it, I want to know what you guys think. As always, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you're leaving us that comment in the comment box below. Make sure you're sharing this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Make sure you hit that like button because it's free and it helps the channel. And then, friends, Miko says we need more subscribers, and you don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then, friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.